Jasmine, Jasmine, Jasmine. No matter what man that you place this woman with, Jasmine will never change. She will always be the same person. Now that may be either a good thing or it might be a bad thing. But hey, let's get into exactly what went down in this episode.
Ask myself, am I sabotaging? Like I can finally be happy?
Bad boys and little weirdos?
Yeah.
To be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if self-sabotaging was one of the things that Jasmine does like to do, to be honest with you. But then again, at the same time, when she was a Gino, did she ever self-sabotage that relationship? I guess, yeah, she did 100%. With all the outbursts, with all the screams, everything that she did was absolutely over the top and just ugly to watch and ugly just to even experience watching it. So yeah, self-sabotage is probably definitely one of her unfortunate traits. But hey, the fact is, if she knows and she's aware of the fact that Matt does actually make her happy, but yet she still wants to sabotage, that's concerning, because I'm not being funny. If I sit there and I say to myself, hold on a minute, I'm actually happy with this person, so why the hell am I still trying to self-sabotage? At that moment in time, I've got to do some deep soul searching, whether that be going to get a therapist or going and do some sort of self-care, but something has to come out of it, you see what I'm saying? So the fact that she's aware of this, but isn't willing to even like address it with herself properly, that's a problem. Like I said, Jasmine, no matter who she's going to be with, she'll always be the same person, and that is always going to be her biggest downfall, because it shows that she lacks any form of maturity, any form of reflection, any form of evolving.
Why did that attract you on Gino?
And said she don't want to marry you, so what if another opportunity comes up? You taking that opportunity, or?
Say like this? No, but if we don't live together and this is still giving me a red light, yeah.
I think it's very interesting to me. After all,
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you know, in life, everything has an expiry date, okay? Everything has an expiry date. Now, of course, when it comes to the fact that everything has an expiry date, it doesn't necessarily mean that your relationship is going to have that. You know what I mean? Because let's just call it what it is, you know? We're all expendable, you know? We all born and then we all pass away. You know, that is just the nature of life. And there's going to be many people that we come across that are going to be here today and they're going to be gone tomorrow. And when I say gone tomorrow, I don't mean necessarily passed away, but we just may not be friends with that person tomorrow. We may not be in a relationship with that person tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Anything can obviously happen. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. But the matter of the fact is, when people like Jasmine are out here, I don't want to say she's playing games, but when she's out there being very, very challenging, listen, a man's patience is only going to last as long as it's going to last. Do you see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, Matt has every right to sit there and say, listen, if things don't obviously change, yeah, I may have to step away. Because why not? It's just cold, obviously, you know, understanding his own worth or his own priorities or whatever, or his own value, you know? Yeah.
News to me. This is not the way you talk. You always say back home that you're patient.
She's offering you for Sky and you're just like, you want to go and work right now. Like, what are you doing? You want to wait for her?
you can't string him along.
The impression that I will always have this door open. I am taking my sweet time. So now he's saying like, okay, if I can find someone and marry, like, where is this coming from?
I'm not gonna get.
To be honest with you, like, I don't care about what conversation you've been having behind closed doors. At the end of the day, times change. Listen, obviously, when this man first got with you, started obviously dating you or whatever they were you two were doing, obviously his mindset was somewhere else. But she has to also remember, he's now in this house with a bunch of other people. And he's having to spend time with Gino, you know, and he's looking at you and your relationship with Gino, your energy around him, how Gino is to you. All of these things can easily change somebody's mindset because they're now in an environment where they're looking around thinking, that's the guy that she loved? Or that's the guy that she still loves? That's the guy that, do you see what I'm saying? That's going to play up in his mind. So eventually reality is going to hit him. What's happening is that reality has hit him and he's sitting there thinking to himself, yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. Which is completely fine. But Jasmine, on the other hand, of course, she's going to hear it differently and she's obviously going to make the situation into something else.
Give you a timeline because if you live next to each other, you co-parent, and I'm still getting booty every week, it might go 5 years. She's talking to some guy and I hear about it or something. I'm like, no, this is done. Then I'm gonna.
Wasn't meant to do that bit there. All right. So here's the thing. The good news that is that he says, and what if she's talking to somebody else? So that means he has now acknowledged that if she could leave Gino for me, she could easily leave me for someone else. He's recognizing that there may be a potential that this could happen, especially given the fact that we now have a child. And I've tried to put us in a position where there's a commitment that we can have. he pretty much obviously kind of gave, he pretty much proposed the idea of a promise ring, basically, and she rejected it. So I can understand why he's obviously now starting to step back. He's now starting to have reservations. Whatever conversation that they had, were obviously conversation that they had before this situation happened, because the last episode we saw before the tell-all was of him basically saying to her, listen, I'm not asking you to marry me now, but I just want to, propose to you here to let you know that I have intentions of marrying you at some point, and just so I also know that you want the same thing at some point, which is basically a promise ring, right? But she said, nah. So listen, it's okay for him to now start having, second thoughts. Jasmine, yeah.
I'm gonna move on with my life, and that's it. An expiration date on this relationship. Like, bro, we literally have a kid together. So I think it's only fair that I could ask for like some formal commitment.
Yeah. The only thing that's going to contradict this part is obviously there is that conversation that they have regarding if Matilda didn't exist, if you would actually want to propose to Jasmine in the first place. That kind of contradicts it, because one of the reasons that he gives, and something that we will discover later on in this video, is that he doesn't really know her. Obviously, if Matilda didn't happen, then obviously he wouldn't be in a rush to marry her quick, because obviously he'd want to spend more time getting to know who she is. Yeah. Should have really spent more time getting to know who she is before getting her pregnant, but yeah.
Jasmine needs to hear that I'm not going to just wait around forever.
We were playing like Dare or Truth games yesterday. They asked you like, if you didn't have a child, Charlie said like, I don't think so.
Deep down inside, do you really feel like if you guys didn't have a child, would you still want to marry Jasmine?
No, I probably wouldn't. Not at this moment.
If it is the
And I don't blame him. But I do blame him for actually wanting to marry her now. Even though I understand why he wants to marry her, but it's a cultural thing. Completely get it. But he still doesn't know who she is. And Jasmine's the kind of person that you really need to know who she is before you decide to marry this woman. But at the same time, she's the kind of woman that you really needed to know who she was before you decided to get her pregnant too. Yeah, that part.
the real where you feel. I don't need to wait until the leasing expire. That's somewhere else.
You're overreacting.
No, I'm not overreacting, because you said, oh, there's an expiration date. You don't tell me this when it, then what? Okay, then I'm gonna just find a place and we're not gonna live together. And then you want? I don't need.
I mean, you're really starting to find out who she is, you know what I mean? So reactive in such a bad way. So because this man tells you that, hey, he may have to step away from the relationship if things don't progress, now all of a sudden you want to fast forward that. This is literally, I guess some people would say this is flat out narcissism, but hey, let me know your thoughts on that one.
Expiration date. I give it to myself.
With you all day, all night. When I look like Gino, I don't like sitting here and arguing. That's why you went to the bar, so they can hit a parent. Who talks this much, bro?
Oh man, this reminds me when Rob mimicked Jasmine, and then he got called out for racism because he mimicked her accent. I would never understand why people started to call him out for being racist or whatever dumb nonsense that was, because literally all he did was an impression. Like, if you do an impression of somebody, you're gonna try and mimic the accent. Like, it's not rocket science, but anyway, this reminds me of that, to be fair. And this one here was actually even better than Rob's one, because obviously he has lived with her, and he's obviously experienced what Jasmine can be like. The way he was like, "Who talks this much, bro?" Jasmine was gobsmacked. You saw that she had no words, so anything that was going to come out of her mouth after that was just going to be utter gibberish. But that's the problem, though. The problem is that anything that comes out of Jasmine's mouth is what? Utter gibberish.
I'm tired.
You're telling these strangers, because they are strangers.
Eventually, something has to happen. I don't understand what's going on then.
Wait time if I ever get married.
Jasmine will always be Jasmine, and that's just the bottom line. There's nothing that we can ever do about that, do you know what I mean? That's never going to ever change in any shape or form. Which, listen, at the end of the day, if she always wants to be the way she is, then so be it. But she has to recognize that who she is isn't great. Because if she looks at her own track record, men don't stick around for long. Men don't stick around, and in the end, they all end up leaving her at some point. You know what I mean? Okay? Whether she claims to leave them or not, subjective, you know what I mean? And then also on top of that, not only do men leave, well, actually, no, let's flip that. At some point, I guess the relationship she has with men always end at some point. And also on top of that, even when it comes to her own kids, she also ends up leaving them too. That part. Well, nonetheless, though, let me know exactly what you're thinking down below in the comment section and we'll talk about it. But as far as I'm concerned, Jasmine is somebody that is just a lost cause, you know, and she needs to really reflect on herself, you know. And to be honest with you, a part of me really wants her relationship with Matt to work, because if her relationship with Matt works, do you know what that means, folks? Do you know what that means? It means that we won't see Jasmine on TV anymore. At least 90 Day Fiance. And to be fair, yeah, I'll leave it as that. But then at the same time, they can still bring them back to be on the show and just fake storylines anyway and pretend as if her and Matt are having a difficult time. Yeah, that part. But nonetheless, obviously, next week's episode does show Gino obviously stepping out, and obviously we'll see exactly what Gino and Jasmine obviously kind of talk about. Obviously, we do see Jasmine pretty much saying to Gino that she still loves him, and Matt's literally there listening, which is just a massive disrespect. And it's crazy. That's another part we have to talk about. She's upset, really upset and butthurt about the fact that this man has said that, yeah, there could be an expiration date on us if things don't progress. Meanwhile, she has disrespected this man the whole time they've been at this location, because let's not forget, she has spoken about Gino to other people about him saying, yeah, I really loved him. Gino was this, he was so good, you know, especially when he was long distance, he was amazing to me, blah, 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 blah. She has literally spoken about him in a freaking positive situation, which isn't a bad thing per se, because sometimes you can have a healthy breakup. Even if you have an unhealthy breakup, you can still speak about someone in a healthy light, which isn't a bad thing. Let's not get it twisted. But to do it in a way where Matt is there listening, knowing that Matt has tried to give you a promise ring and you denied him, Matt has tried to find a form of commitment from you and you've denied him, but yet you have the audacity to sit there and talk about another man in such a... Yeah, you see where the problem could be here? So yeah, that's something that definitely needs to be, you know, recognized there. But nonetheless, though, let me know exactly what you're thinking down below, folks, and we can talk about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the live stream. Peace.